Education expert Mary Metcalf joins us now to continue the discussion. Professor Metcalf, it is vitally important to get back to learning. Pupils have missed out on enough already. Are you happy with the department's plans to assess and address missed content from 2020?
I think that the presentation by the department was really comprehensive. I think that as a country, relative to the confusion that still reigns in many other countries, we can be very confident that at a school level, school leaders have done extraordinarily well in terms of general preparedness, as well as with catching up with the backlogs of curriculum. And I think the DBE's presentation was thorough, it was frank, it acknowledged many of the remaining weaknesses, and it's now up to parents and learners to work carefully with schools to make sure that we keep schools safe, including sending children to school with masks.
In terms of human resource capacitation, there are a number of posts that are vacant. What should the department be doing in terms of oversight to make sure that on a provincial level we don't see red tape delaying the process and keeping teachers away from schools and learners without sufficient teachers?
There's well-established processes usually operating between schools and districts across the country, so that the shortages that arise from teachers that have passed on, as well as teachers that are currently ill, as well as teachers with comorbidities, so that those posts are filled urgently. And I think as South Africans, we have to be very sensitive in terms of understanding the balance between red tape and due process that protects the resource from being carelessly used. We keep putting the department under an enormous amount of pressure to procure, to get PPEs, to appoint teachers, but at the same time we need to understand that those processes require time so that they're not abused. I'm confident that across the country, principals will know that they need to be in touch with their district office in order to find out where they can find the teachers that they need, so that learners are taught, that learners are cared for, because schools are more than places of receiving knowledge. They're places where learners are actually in a safe environment which can act as a barrier to transmission of the virus. That's places where they get food, it's places where they interact socially, and we need to support schools to do that effectively with teachers in place.
So parents are under immense strain at the moment. We've heard again of the reinforcement of how important their support is, both for school structures and for teachers in specific. How important is their role going to be, and what kind of support do schools need from parents now that schools are reopening?
It's an excellent question, because there is so much that parents can do. I think the first thing is that the burden of screening children at school level should happen at home. Families need to make sure that their children understand why they need to practice safety, such as mask wearing, physical distance, hand sanitizing. If parents can send children to school understanding the elements of those safe practices, it helps the school enormously. The second thing is that parents need to know that across the country, the majority of learners, other than perhaps 2/3 of grade 7 and the grade 12s, are going to be attending school one day and being at home the second day. And that practice is going to continue, of alternating days in the majority of cases and sometimes weeks, so that classes can have the minimum distance of 1 to 1.5 meters between learners. Now, parents need to help learners understand that that second day is not a holiday. It's a day where they need to model the routine of school at home if they can, so that for learners it doesn't feel like it's a holiday, it's a day, it's a holiday, it's a work day, but they understand that the full 5-day week is a day is a time of learning, and parents need to help learners structure their time at home to be able to do the homework.
Thank you so much for speaking to us. As always, that was Professor Mary Metcalf.